Welcome everybody to episode number 102 of the Bald Avenger show. I am Jason Cisneros, also known as the Bald Avenger, and the tattooed guru, the purveyor of all things common sense, the king of the Misfit Nation, and a legend, baby, a legend in my own mind. In my own mind, as you should be a legend in your own mind. And just want Danny T's in the house. Great to see everybody. You know, we had a little snafu, a little technical snafu over on Facebook, but we don't care. This Misfit Nation, we overcome, we adapt, right? What's the Marine saying, right? We overcome, and we adapt. But that's what's up. Tonight is very, very important for us to have this discussion, and so I wasn't going to let anything stop me. I know Sandy was really dedicated to making sure that this show was seen and that it was so thank you for that, Sandy. And if I know you, I love you. If I don't know you and you're brand new to the show and this is the first time you're seeing it or hearing it, I love you as well. Tonight's subject matter, you know, the world is going batshit crazy. Literally, we get to say batshit because the coronavirus came from some bat soup back in November, supposedly from Wuhan, China area. So, but we're going to talk about some things that are important. I want to address some things. I've been having multiple conversations from, you know, some of my friends that are really connected in the DC world, and some of my friends that are very connected in the banking world, some of my friends that are very connected in the business world, some of my friends that are connected in the healthcare world. I've been just curious, right? I've just been curious. And then I've been watching the Joe Rogan shows, and I've really thrown myself into this. The timing couldn't be better because it's after we just did an amazing event called Unstoppable in Florida. And a lot of you that are here with me tonight, you were there with me. I miss you all so very much. It was great to be under the same roof with you all, and to see Misfit Nation in one room for the first time ever. So grateful for the event and for the experience and for what we all got to share together. And I just couldn't be more pleased with how it turned out. Can't wait till the next one. I was thinking maybe we could go out and I've heard that cruises are a little bit cheap these days. So we could get a Misfit cruise together and have the best time ever. We'll have the whole entire ship to ourselves, right? What could go wrong with a bunch of misfits out in the middle of the ocean for 5 days or 6 days or however long we would end up doing it, right? What could ever go wrong? So anyway, so I want to talk a little bit tonight. The title of the show is just taking a deep breath with Jason and talking about what the hell's going on in the world. And I'm glad, whatever reason that Facebook wasn't working tonight, it always happens as it should. And so I want to start out this show, whether you're hearing it now or whether you're hearing it on replay. I'm really interested in hearing your questions. I want to know what's concerning you right now, and kind of gather. I mean, what I've been in, you know, those of you that know me, one of the things that I do, well, if it's a new industry or religion or politics or whatever it is, I throw myself into it head first so that I can learn, so that I can absorb, so that I can come to my own conclusions. And then when I come to those conclusions, put them out to the rest of the world so that they can be, you know, attacked, and it sharpens my edge. It sharpens my ability to be able to come to the right conclusion. And so I'm doing the same thing with this entire event. And I'm going to do a series of these shows as things progress, but as things progress, as I learn new things, as we learn together, as things unfold, both in the economy and in people's health, there's some interesting things that are happening. So, but I want to focus tonight really on the two aspects, but I want to start with the premise of really when I dig into this whole subject matter, I want to dig into what's happening. It's interesting. I mean, those of you that are paying attention, and a lot of Misfit Nation, you do this, right? We are participating in this world, but we're not actually of that world. We have the ability to be able to step back and to be able to hold two ideas in our mind at the same time. And the thing that I'm going to stay away from, and that I pray that you stay away from as well, is pointing fingers, whether you're a dyed-in-the-wool Republican or a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. I'm going to address that, but I'm not going to address it from my own perspective. I'm going to address it as the use of control and the use of fear and that kind of stuff on both sides of the equation. So there is not going to be a political bent or political tilting in any of my comments tonight. This is purely discovery. It's purely education. It's purely really just reaching out to my friends and saying, here's what I found, and here's what I see coming. And really what we do in Misfit Nation is we lift each other up, we support each other, we educate each other on how best to navigate our issues that happen in this world. And it doesn't matter if it's cancer, if you have a business problem, if you're going through a divorce, if you're, whatever the scenario, this is no different. Okay. The issue is that it's multiplied. And I want to start out with what I have found as the root cause of what's happening. And then we're going to start our discussion. And please this is one of those shows that I want your interaction, whether, a lot of times they want to edit out like my shout outs to people and all that kind of stuff for when it goes to iHeartRadio and iTunes and all that kind of stuff. But this I want shown or recorded in its entirety, because I want to hear from you. I want to know the things that you're concerned about, and no judgment. There'll be no attacking from anybody in the audience tonight. This is just for us to have a discussion, because really in the last 48 hours, things have just blown up, right? They've just blown up. It's been building. We didn't know where it was going to go. And now it's blown up into this worldwide hysteria. And so tonight I want to start with the premise of where I believe that all comes from. And it comes from us walking around with this illusion of control, right? This is the basis where I want to start an honest conversation with Misfit Nation to say that we walk around, we drive down the road, when we go past, at a foot apart from a car going the opposite direction, and it's going 90 miles an hour and we're going 90 miles an hour. And we just have this illusion of control in our life that is a necessary emotion. Like, we can't walk around going, oh my God, like the sky is falling, everything. Like there's unfounded fears and there's founded fears, and there's things that you should be paying attention to. But I want to start out with this premise of this illusion of control. And what has thrown the world into a tizzy is that there's this thing and it's happening. And it's called Corona, just whatever title it is, right? It doesn't matter what the title is. Just so happens to be that right now it's coronavirus, right? COVID-19, the Wuhan virus, the China virus, whatever it is that you want to call it, doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, what it is it's a thing that we can point out and we can say, this has made me feel like I have lost control, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know whether to freak out. I don't know whether to not freak out. I don't know whether to protect myself. Like this is the issue. So it's thrown us into this place where, if we were honest with ourselves, we could be in every single day, every single moment of every single day, we could be in that place of uncertainty with no matter what's going on. We don't know if there's a bomb that's going to drop. We don't know if we're going to wreck our car. We don't know. There's so many things. And as I dug into conversations with radically intelligent people. And we're going to get into some of that stuff about what's happening and that kind of thing. I want to start out with the psychology that all of us are approaching this with. And there's this situation where we go, okay, I'm being told, and I'm seeing it on social media, right? We had a much worse scenario with H1N1. We had a worst case scenario with Ebola. There's so many things that have been worse. Just the average flu. There's so many things that have been worse than what we're seeing right now, as far as the morbidity rate, the mortality rate. Sorry, But right now, what we have is we have social media. So it's an amplification of everybody saying, oh my God, I have to pay attention to this. Oh my God, I should be scared. Oh my God, right? I should be afraid of what's happening. And my neighbors are afraid, and my friend is afraid, and my mom is afraid, and my neighbors and my daughter is afraid, and my coworkers are afraid. And oh my God, they just canceled the NBA season. Like, what is happening? They shut down Italy. What? Right? So that emotion that stirs up in us is that we've got this illusion. Remember, I'm saying it's the illusion of control for a reason, because it's an illusion. We don't know what's going to happen. We never have known what's going to happen. And when somebody that's gotten cancer, or somebody that's been in a car wreck, or somebody that there's a multitude of things that happen to people where you go, oh, my certainty might have been unfounded. But which way do we want to live our lives? And really what I want to drive this conversation towards tonight is for us to make a conscious decision of how, no matter what happens, how we're going to navigate this together, and how we're going to navigate this as an individual, how we're going to navigate this as Misfit Nation, how we're going to navigate this as the leader of our family, as somebody that's a leader in a business, somebody that's a leader in politics, whatever it is. And I want to just start out there, and for us to come together as a family and just take a deep breath and go, okay, we're dealing with a very highly emotional charged time. And we need to take a deep breath, because think about it this way. And you guys have heard me use this example multiple times with somebody that's a pilot, right? And you're flying through the air, and all of a sudden you hit a rough patch of air, and the pilot comes over the thing and goes, oh my God, what was that? I don't know what's happening. Everybody stop, sit down, put your seatbelts on, put your mask on your face, kiss your ass goodbye, because I don't know what's happening. And then all of a sudden you get through it, and they're like, oh, sorry about that, guys. Sorry, I don't know what happened. And then, you go 20 more minutes down the road, and you hit another rough patch of air. It's like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? It's happening twice in a row. This has got to be the time when we're going to go down. And if you have a pilot that's geared that way, because I feel like I'm talking to and I'm speaking to leaders that are out there. I'm not really speaking to a bunch of people that are followers or whatnot. I feel like I'm speaking to a bunch of leaders. And so one of the greatest components of being a leader is that you are calm in the face of crisis. And whatever this scenario, whatever direction this scenario goes, okay? Because I'll get to my sort of conclusions of where I'm at with the available information that I have towards the end of this. But ultimately, this comes down to, how are you going to navigate it? And what does the world need to see from you currently today as everything is freaking out, right? And what kind of a person are you going to be in managing your own psychology and understanding that maybe what we've done, we've lost, and being honest. Like, I mean, I'm in a position where I'm looked to as somebody that should know what's going on, know the answers and that kind of thing. So I've dug in. I'm taking my responsibility seriously. And as I've spoken to all my companies and as I've spoken to all the people that are leaders in my team, I go, we have a heavy responsibility, because people look to us now for leadership. They look to us now for guidance. They look to us now for how to navigate what's happening. And I just want you to know, as we get into this, that I take that responsibility highly seriously. I'm not going to suggest doing anything that I'm not doing myself. I'm not going to suggest. And remember that I'm a leader speaking to other leaders, and how we navigate this is going to be the most important defining moment of our lives. This is a great time for us to be leaders. It's a great time for us to be alive. It's a great time for us to be together. It's a great time for us to have gone through the last few years together, to get to know each other, to be challenging each other, to lift ourselves up, for a bunch of misfits to come together across the world, to be able to say, okay, maybe this is the time that we're being called to leadership, and for us to step up. And one of the first things that must happen is we've got to take that collective breath together to look at this and say, okay, yes, there's been a lack of certainty in the world right now. We have, and I'm going to get the next portion of this that I want to talk about is that as a leader, if nobody else is trustworthy on the face of the planet, right? If nobody else is trustworthy, you need to be. And here's how I believe a trustworthy leader would act, is that we look at it and we say, okay, there's not looking at it from what can I get from this scenario, because there's a lot of people that are out there that are doing this, but who do I need to become to step into the leader that I was meant to be? This is a call to leadership. This is not a call to, not a call to say, oh, just poor baby, everything's going to be okay type of a thing, because we don't know the answer to that. If we're being honest, we don't know the answer if everything's going to be okay. What we do know is that you're a leader. You're somebody that's watching this. You're somebody that has a following of people, somebody that you're responsible for, even if that person is just you looking in the mirror, even if that person is just your family, even if that person is the person that, you've got a small company or whatever it is, you are being called to leadership. And in and of that, the very first realization that you must come to is that the illusion of control has always been just that. It's been an illusion. None of us have control over when our life is going to end. And so let it be a fucking surprise, right? Let it be a surprise. Don't get into, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to catch this. I don't know if my grandfather, my grandmother, the person that I love the most, that's not a position for a leader to be in. Now, the second piece of this that's really important is, if you're going to accept that responsibility, to be calm in crisis. Calm in crisis is one of the biggest, most important pieces of you being a leader. And I'm just watching the names here. Those of you that have decided to join tonight and have navigated being over here, is that one of the things that you can do is just step up and be like, you know what? We got this. No matter what happens, we got this. It's nothing that, look, there's been challenges in the world. There's been the Black Plague. There's been, wars. There's been sickness. There's been, cancer. There's been all of these things. Everybody that's watching this, everybody that's listening to this on replay, you have all been through your personal own coronavirus at some point in your life when nobody was with you. Right? When the world was where you figured out something for yourself, or you were dealing something with your child, or you were dealing something with your own personal life. And the thing that was missing that exists today is that you went through it completely alone. I know I've gone through it 3 or 4 times in my life, where I lost my business, where I had a health challenge, where I had basically a mental breakdown, where I was just by myself. And so you've all been there. You've all had your version of what's happening right now. The issue is that the world is freaking out at the same time you are. So if that's a question, the first decision needs to be, I'm a leader, and calm in crisis. I see Sandy made the comment here, is that she's calm in crisis until you're by yourself. Now, a perception, right? I started out talking about the illusion of control. The perception that you're ever by yourself is also an illusion. You're never by yourself. even those of us that are in Misfit Nation, you know what I mean. It doesn't, we were separated. What happened in Florida was we saw people from around the world converge in a room together, and the biggest amount of love and respect and sharing of stories and being vulnerable and leading and stepping up and giving that advice. Like, you know, you're not alone. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do the show tonight, why I wanted to come over here, no matter what it took to come over to Zoom and to make sure that this show got done, was because I want you to know you're not by yourself, right? If your eyeballs are watching this, if your ears are hearing this, I am with you. You are with me. And we have to figure out, no matter if this is a small band of people, right? I always go back to the show 300, where what a small band of people, what they've been able to do. Every great story, whether it's a sports or military or individual, whatever it is, it comes together. It's a group of people that come together and they show up when the world needs them. And this is your siren call for you to first decide that you are a leader, that you are going to provide calm in the coming days. You're going to provide calm in every Facebook post. You're going to provide calm in every conversation. You're going to provide calm when you look yourself in the mirror. You're going to provide calm knowing that at the end of the day, you are protected. Even the birds in the trees will be provided for, right? That's biblical. We could go through all of the different written documents throughout history, that at the end of the day, you're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. If the worst case scenario, right? I always refer to, a lot of times I refer to the book, Man's Search for Meaning, where Viktor Frankl was figured out a way to make his time in a concentration camp have meaning. And y'all are my battle buddies. Y'all are my team. Y'all are my family. And that's why we're having this conversation together, because the world needs right now a group of people to step up without an agenda. Because the second part of what I wanted to talk about tonight was the biggest question after you figure out that you're freaking out about this illusion of control. The second question that comes up is, who do I trust? Who do I trust? And as we look around, this is another big component, is we're looking around going, do I trust President Trump? Do I trust Nancy Pelosi? Do I trust my neighbor that lives down the street? Do I live down? And again, do not make this political, okay? I'm not making it political. I'm just saying that this is the next question that people are asking is, okay, I got it. This illusion of control. I'm going to step up. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to execute on all those books, all those seminars I've been to, all the CDs I've listened to, all the digital programs I've been through. This is a time for me to step up as a leader and to show calm and display it, and to give that calm to other people, to spread that virus of calm. And the next thing is to provide a place where people feel like they're protected. They feel like their information that they're getting is non-biased. It's not to push them to one side or the other. And I can tell you, regardless of what side you think of that I fall on politically, I can tell you that everybody is pushing that line of how much they can manipulate you, right? They're pushing that line of how much can we scare people? How much can we take advantage of this fear situation so that we are viewed? You're seeing it from the president's message to Joe Biden's message to Bernie Sanders' message. You saw everybody step out and go, okay, here's my version of being a leader and calming people down. And you look at that message and you go, okay, I want to believe parts of that. I want to believe parts of that. But do I really trust anybody? And so that's the next piece that everybody's struggling with. When people are looking around, they're going, they're home now. The things are being canceled. People are being sent home. You're working from home. There's a lot of downtime and there's a lot of thinking. So a lot of time to think. And so people are going to social media, doing their best to find out, like, what's the answer? And so the attitude that we should take is one of curiosity. Okay. It's one of curiosity. And that's what I've done. I'm not looking at this from a left. I know in some scenarios like this, that we want the best minds on the left. We want the best minds in the middle. We want the best minds on the right. And we want them to come together to tell us what's coming, right? And in a way that we can trust them. And I'm going to be honest with you in this particular show that I wanted to do tonight is that I don't trust anybody, right? Right now, there's no one that has fallen out of the fray, because I still think people are jockeying for positioning. Like, you know, the Democrats rightfully on their side think, oh my God, this could do just enough damage to the economy to be able to get Trump out of the equation. Trump is like, you know, or the Republicans are like, well, this could be a portending for people to see. This is what it looks like under socialism. And you see that jockeying, right? You see that jockeying between like, and it's selfish. And it shows a total and complete lack of leadership and integrity in those that we have sent to Washington to lead us, to guide us, to be able to put us through this. And so I want to just tell you right now, I trust no one. I trust no message. Let's talk about the scientists and the people that are putting out the information that are supposedly the voices of reason. Okay. And I look at this from a standpoint of, let's say that you're a scientist and your one job has always been to be in the world of infectious disease. And a lot of the work that you do is in the background, and you know, you might save the world. Nobody knows about it. And all of a sudden you're thrust out of complete anonymity into the forefront. And now you're on TV, and now you're on MSNBC, and now you're on Fox News, and now you're being called to come out and to speak your message. You know, again, I'm being honest, because I think it's what we're all thinking anyway, is that when these people are sucked out of anonymity and they're thrust onto a Joe Rogan podcast and they're being seen by millions of people, where 10 people knew their name a week ago. Now they're being thrust out there. Human nature, if it's you, if it's me, human nature is, man, I might want to keep my name out here just a little bit. So what's the harm in making sure that people are prepared, right? Like, I can hear the conversations, because what I've done, the best job that I could possibly do, I've put myself in their seats, and I've thought to myself, what are the lowest level thought processes that I would have? And what are the high-minded thoughts that I might have? And so you've got these people that are coming out, and they've got this brand new celebrity, so to speak, and they're telling us things like it's the most infectious. It's the, you know, and look, I'm a big believer in numbers. And so we don't have a tremendous amount of data. It's a fairly new strain of the common cold or the flu. And when you say that, right, because that's the actual truth. When you dive in and you go through people that really aren't out in the spotlight, you dive into the experts that have been doing this for 25, 50, 50 years. They go, look, every cold that you've ever had has been a coronavirus. This is a new strain, granted. Yes, it seems to be spreading faster than the normal flu, and it seems to be affecting and impacting people, but at a lesser rate right now than the common cold or the common flu. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I keep the terminology right so I don't get beat up. But the fear is that it spreads so fast that the numbers increase on deaths. And I want to start this segment by saying I have empathy for anybody that dies of anything, whether it's suicide, whether it's cancer, whether it's a car accident, whether, whatever it is. We all know people that have committed suicide. We all know people with cancer. We all, at the end of the day, another thing for us leaders to understand and to be able to communicate amongst each other is the fact that we're all going to die, right? We're all going to die. And the big worry, when people get overly worried about how they're going to die, it starts to steal from the life that you have, this breath that you just took, the kiss that you could just have, the love that you could display, it helps you get past those petty moments where you're being selfish, or you're fighting with somebody that you desperately love, or it takes away from those moments. And that's what a leader needs to understand, is that the moment is this thing called presence. The thing called the present is the moment that you could display love, instead of trying to fight some petty battle, or trying to right a wrong in the past, or being afraid of something that may happen in the future. This is a moment for you to say, look, the best time for me to live is this moment, because I don't know what's coming next, right? When you look at this coronavirus, it's something to be concerned about, but there's 5,000 things for us to be concerned about, y'all. There's 5,000 things for us to be concerned about, and we don't constantly worry about it all the time. So my mind says, let's dig beneath the level of what are the agendas? And you can if you take yourself out of the panic and you become a pilot who's highly trained in keeping your emotions low and your intellect high, and figuring out that, all right, if I'm a leader, my job is to non-emotionally figure out what's happening and what I can do to best calm the seas around me, and to begin the process of bringing the world back to sanity, because we've all lost our collective fucking minds, y'all. We've lost our minds collectively. And so this is a great opportunity. There's always great opportunities that appear in times of tumultuous upheavals. And this one, in my opinion, is one of the greatest upsets, the greatest viruses of mass hysteria of human nature and fear that I have ever seen or ever even read of, because we have this amplification called social media, because we have this amplification of viral content, right? It's the viral content. So as we look at that, what I would suggest is be the person that is calm, number one. Number two, be the person that people can trust, right? And I know we have right, we have left, we have middle, we have gay, we have white, we have black, we have lesbian. That's one of the great things about Misfit Nation, is we all fit together, right? And this is a really great opportunity for us to be able to demonstrate, right? Demonstrate to the rest of the world what it means to be a part of Misfit Nation, what it means to be a leader, what it means to be Sandy Longcar, what it means to be Brian Breen, what it means to be Aaron, what it means to be James, what it means to be. This is a great opportunity for you to step up and for you to add no stress, for you to ease suffering, because the greatest suffering that's happening in people's mind right now is complete and total uncertainty. And if you could be that person that adds that certainty and says, look, no matter what, I'm going to give you my 2-case scenario that I have kind of so far come to the conclusion of what the 2 scenarios are that are going to happen. And I'm going to talk about that as we close out the show. But again, this is about you. These shows are always about you. They're not about me. They're not about, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of work to make sure that I'm informed and to break this down to the things that we can do, right? The things that we can do in our own body, not taking on the full responsibility. How am I going to change the world? How am I going to blah, blah, blah. What you got to do is you got to be able to manage your own mindset. You got to be able to take a deep breath and go, whatever's happening around me right now, I'm smart enough to know that 90% of it is nonsense and 10% of it I need to pay attention to. That 10% that needs to be paid attention to, if you become a researcher and you become somebody that digs in to find out what the truth is, you can see that there's bits of truth from the Democrats. There's bits of truth from the Republicans. You can see, like literally on TV, you can see the better natures trying to come out of the warring parties going, I want to help my Democrat brothers and sisters. I want to help my Republican Democrats and sisters. We need to come together as a nation. What we are is we were sent as a representative of our government, of our people. For our people believed in us to give us votes, to come here to lead. And so you can see their better natures are fighting on both sides of them to come out. I see it like it's just beneath the surface, but they won't allow it to come out right now because they think to themselves, there's a lot of them thinking. And those of you that are watching President Trump, I'll tell you what I think. And those of you that are watching Schumer and people on the left, they're kind of like us. They're humans just like us. And they're sitting there and they're scratching their head and they're thinking to themselves, this is stupid, right? And the problem is, right, they're thinking that this can't be real. This is dumb. This is the flu, y'all. Like this, yeah, this is the flu. And the spread rate, and I get all that, but the challenge is that some of them let that leak out, and now they become human, right? They become human because they're just like us. They're thinking to themselves, this can't be real. Like this, when you dial into the science, and even the worst doomsday scientists cannot give you a prediction of a mortality rate. They're doing it. Like some of the people that are on left or right, you've got people that are on the right that are keeping it super, super low, 0.00001. That's probably not true. And then you got people over here that are like, it could be as high as 25%. And we know damn good and well that that's not true either. And so somewhere in between is the truth. And you've got people that are leaders that are on camera, that are in the media, that are politicians, that are business leaders, that are stepping out there. And in their heart of hearts, they believe just like we do. This seems silly, but they then are locked into a place where they're also leaders and their job is to calm the markets. It's to calm the markets. It's to calm human beings. It's to make sure that we don't have a blowout panic. It's to make sure that we're not freaking the hell out. And that's their job. And then on top of that, they have to say, okay, if we give in before they give in, then they're going to have a political advantage. Look, as long as there's political infighting, I'm going to make this observation. As long as the Democrats are framing this to damage Trump, and as long as Trump is framing this, not Trump, but the Republicans are framing this to say that the Democrats are weak on it, we're all in a really good position. Okay. It's when they all come together because this thing has taken on a life of its own. And there is a tremendous, it's when they all come together that we should be like, okay, this shit is real. That's when we need to be paying attention going, Trump and Pelosi are like actually in the same room and they're actually figuring something out and they're actually working together and they're not calling each other names behind each other's backs. That's when we all need to go, oh, okay. You know, this is something, and we need to be really focused and concerned and paying attention to it now. Isn't that funny? Like if the two warring sides are actually working together, that's when you know we actually have a problem. Right now, we don't really actually have a problem. So I'm going to take that last statement back because I don't want to make definitive statements in tonight's show because I don't know. I mean, here's the answer. I don't know the answer. What I'm doing is I'm taking the best of my 48 years of learning and saying, this is probably one of the greatest times. If you want to be a leader, if you want to be that person that steps up, this is one of the greatest times in history for you to be that person, for you to be the person that steps out. And I don't know where it leads. Maybe it doesn't lead to anywhere other than the fact that you can look back at this time and tell your grandchildren, I was one of the sane people. I was one of the people that were leading and not following. I was one of the people that was doing the best to add calm to the markets. I was, not beating people up because I've seen, let's break down a couple of the two sides that you're seeing, right? I've seen a long blog post from Italy, which right now is kind of the epicenter because they closed down the whole country. It's like they're projecting, like they're saying this could happen in the United States, is that one day it's okay and the next day everything is shut down. And you've got two sides of even that story. You've got somebody that's over there saying, look, this is bad because we've shut down our country. We have people that are coming in that need ventilators. You have to keep in mind that that's an elderly, like, again, I'm not making definitive statements. I'm just stating things as they sit, that you've got an elderly world. You've got that happening. And then, you know, you've got people that are dying, but still the rate's not high. And then you have this other blog post of people that are like, our country's shut down and none of us are freaking out. We're not going after toilet paper. We're just kind of loving up on each other. We're staying away from each other. It's okay. Like, you have those competing messages. And I always just say, okay, what's driving it, right? I mean, that's what we have to do. What we have to do is no matter what we're intaking into our mind, we have to say, what's the agenda of the human being that's saying what they're saying? And for us in Misfit Nation, the best thing for you to have over the course of the next 6 weeks is to have no agenda other than to demonstrate your leadership skills, to sharpen your leadership skills, for you to step up and to demonstrate those things, even if it's just to yourself, because the world doesn't change, right? You can see that this is obvious to you right now as you're watching the world. The world does not change, but for one individual that become two individuals that say, you know what, you're not going to scare us. And this is the biggest message for me, is that I look around and I'm pissed. For me, I look at I want to put my arms around Misfit Nation and go, this is the greatest time for you to be alive in the history of mankind. Is today, in this scenario, under these circumstances. The greatest time for you to be alive is today, because you get to demonstrate, you get to be that person that the world is looking for right now in desperation. You get to be that voice of calm that steps in and says, you know what? We don't know. We don't know, right? We don't know, but here's what I do know is that I love Sandy Longcar. Here's what I do know is I love Abby Moreland. Here's what I do know. I love Donna Davidson, right? Here's what I do know. I love you. And no matter what's going to happen, we're going to get through this, not as an individual. We're going to get through this together. And that's the calm that needs to hit the marketplace. That's you that need to hit the marketplace and to be like, you know what? There is nothing that can shake me, right? There is nothing that can shake me, because times call. Like, if you look back through historical books, if you look back through times of great peril and through wars and through challenges and things like that, individuals show up that do what? You guys answer that question. The people that show up and that make a mark in history are the people that lay a hand of calm and say, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. I may die of coronavirus tomorrow, but you know what? It's okay, because I lived my life in such a way that said, I'm not going to be fearful, because tomorrow, I mean, look, you know, you could go back and you can look at the things that have happened over and over and over again throughout history. And you could say, you know, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like tomorrow, even after the coronavirus, y'all, there's going to be another disease. There's going to be another war. There's going to be another crazed maniac that decides that an entire race needs to be wiped off the face of the planet. Look, we're going to deal with that stuff. You're going to deal with that stuff. And I am not going to, I love what Sandy just said. You better self-quarantine or you're in big trouble. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to quarantine myself from life. I'm not going to do it. You know, I understand you, one of the greatest experts that's out there said that trying to stop the spread of this is like trying to stop the wind. Okay. You don't hear people say self-quarantine yourself when you get the flu. You don't hear people say, you know, self-quarantine yourself around it. It's just a metaphor for life, y'all. I want you to stop and just think about the fact that this is a metaphor for life. It's a metaphor for the people that have told you to quarantine yourself away from risk. Don't get into that relationship. Don't be with that guy. Don't be with that woman. Don't get into that relationship. The people that have tried to quarantine you against business and getting into business, and don't go into business. Quarantine yourself against risk. You might fail. You might go bankrupt. You might do this. You might do that. Don't start working out. Who cares? Quarantine yourself. You've got a disease. You've got somebody. You lost somebody in your family. You ended up in jail. That look. This is the greatest metaphor in history for what people have been trying to get you to do your entire life, which is quarantine yourself from risk, quarantine yourself from fear, quarantine yourself from taking chances. Look, I think, I think that tonight, I want to be careful with my words. I'm going to give you what I believe and what I think is happening, and it's coming. And I've got a 2-part scenario, and I just want you to realize that this is a metaphor for you. This is an opportunity for you. This is a chance for us to step out as Misfit Nation. It's a chance for us to step out as human beings, to be those leaders that people need right now, because you can't quarantine yourself from life. This is spread. Like I said, you've got people that are wearing masks, and the only thing it does is stop a cough. It doesn't keep you from breathing it in unless you have a ventilator. Very few people have a ventilator. Purell doesn't kill the coronavirus. And yet it's selling for $80 out there. Like, there's all of these things that we've been doing. And forget about the coronavirus for a second. I want you to look at your own life, and I want you to see all of the things that you have done to quarantine yourself that haven't worked. You've gotten a broken heart. You've went bankrupt. You had to move back in with your parents. You weren't able to pay your bills. You got your heart broken. There's all these things. I just want you to look back over your life and those things that you've tried to protect yourself from that end up being the greatest lesson for you in your life. It was that pain. It was the struggle that you went through. It was overcoming this stuff. It was that thing that built you up. And look, at the end of the day, if coronavirus is the thing that takes me, then so fucking be it, y'all. So be it. I cannot stop breathing air. I cannot stop loving my children. I cannot stop loving my fellow human beings. I cannot stop loving Em. I cannot stop loving you. I cannot stop loving the world. I'm not going to end human fucking interaction because of a virus. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to participate in everybody else's fucking freak out. I'm not going to participate in it. And neither should you, right? Neither should you. And so at the end of the day, you've got to take precautions. You got to take precautions. I get it. And you have to be careful. But how careful? Those of you that know Pastor Rudy, he's, the first time that he was going out on a mission or whatever, and I told him just offhandedly, because I never say it, I just said, be careful. And he said, Jason, never say that to me again. He said, you tell me stay dangerous, right? You tell me stay dangerous. I put up a post a couple of days ago that said I would risk catching coronavirus by hugging somebody that needed a hug, because that's who I am. And fear is not going to change who I am, because if it does, then I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who I say I am to the world. Neither are you. If you're going to let fear overtake you every single time something comes up, then you're not a leader and you're a follower. And that's part of the problem that we have out there right now, is everybody's freaking the fuck out over toilet paper. And it's because we have bred an entire generation of fucking sheep. And I'm not saying that people aren't going to die. I'm not saying that this might not be a contagion that spreads around the world. I'm not saying any of that. But if it is, then so fucking be it. Bring it on. Because I refuse to live in fear. And that should be the siren's call for everybody that claims to be a Misfit Nation person, for everybody that claims to be a leader, that everybody that claims is that this may be the thing that takes me down, but so damn be it. Cheers to that. So, three-part message tonight. Number one, it's the illusion of control. You don't really have any. You don't know. You just don't know. You don't know. I don't care who you are. The fact that you think you know is something that you should get rid of, right? Now, this is the thing that you should get rid of. As an illusion of control, I don't have any control. All I can do is control this moment, how I'm going to be, who I'm going to be, how I'm going to treat somebody else. We do not know, right? We do not know. There's so many things that happen day after day. I mean, I've lost friends in the course of the last 30 days that thought that they were going to wake up the next day. You know, they didn't. I could think that I'm waking up tomorrow. I possible that I wouldn't, but I'm not going to live my life in fear. And this is the biggest message, y'all. If I could enroll you in anything, it's just being that person that goes out and says, you know what? Everything is going to be okay. Well, oh my God, what if I get coronavirus? Everything's going to be okay. Oh my God, what if I die of coronavirus? Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay, y'all. Because death is coming to all of us, right? Death is coming to every single one of us. The fear that overtakes your leadership skills and your backbone and your ability to be able to lead other people is when you get focused on yourself. When you get focused on, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be on life support. I don't know if I'm going to drain my family's resources. I don't know if I'm going to be ugly when I die. I don't know, if cancer is going to eat away my skin. I don't know if I'm going to suffocate because I got coronavirus. I don't know if I'm going to be in a car accident, if I'm going to burn to death, if I'm going to look, we could go on and on and on and on. There's a show out there called 1,000 Ways to Die. You really want to freak yourself the fuck out? Go watch that show. And it comes back to the phrase, and I'm probably going to get it wrong, but it's something along the lines of, a coward dies 1,000 deaths and a brave person dies but once, right? And that, I don't know what that phrase is. We can find it and come up with it, but that's the truth. Is that if you're going to die of coronavirus, then go head fucking long into that. Love as many people as you can on the way out. Do as much good as you possibly can on the way out. We're all on the way out. We're all on our way out. What's your legacy going to be? Is it going to be one of fear? Is it going to be one of love? Is it going to be one of bravery? Is it going to be one of leadership? Is it going to be one of what is it going to be for you? And that's the choice, right? That's the reason I wanted to do this show, was to let you know we have this illusion of control. It's an illusion for all of us. Next is that the biggest question that people have is, who do I trust? What information do I trust? And I would say be suspicious of everyone, right? But don't be someone that someone is suspicious of because you're driving a political agenda, because you're selling a product, because you're whatever it is. I'm going to be coming up with solutions that I see that people are going to need. And it's going to be because I think it's going to help, right? So program, we are being inundated with people that want to take this downtime with their company to be able to improve. So we've got deep dives galore. I don't have enough people. I don't have enough time. We don't have enough people. So we're going to start a certification program to help people be business-oriented business certification. Anton J certified business coaches, because the world's going to need it as you're recovering from this, learning how to scale down, learning how to scale up. It's all super important. We're also working through my clinic, and on that side is a way for people to best present themselves to something like a coronavirus, like the flu, to be able to build up your immune system, those kind of things. We're working on that as we speak. We had a 4-hour meeting on it today. So I am looking at the environment going, I will be somebody people can trust, because I'm going to come up with solutions that are going to advance people through this uncertain time. Right now, let me, I want to, if you guys have questions, please shoot them out to me. This is what tonight is about. Mainly, I just want to go through those 3 points. Number one, it's an illusion of control that everybody's freaking out about. Oh my God, I actually don't have control. It's a realization of a truth. Okay. It's a realization of a truth. We don't have control. It's fear of the unknown. It's fear of, who do I trust, right? Who do I believe? Whose agenda, who's got an agenda, who doesn't? I believe that you should still ask those questions of everybody and everything at all times. And then what you'll do is you'll find a gem over here. You'll find a gem over here that will actually tell you the truth of what's happening. And then, thirdly, who are you going to be? Like, who are you going to be? You know, don't be fearful. Don't be fearful. Everything's going to be okay. And be that person that spreads that sort of thing over everybody. Yes, we may lose people that we love. Yes, we may be the person that we lose. We may get sick. Yes, but all of that is always possible at every second of the moment in time, even before the coronavirus reared its head. That's always been true. You never have control. You never know what's coming next. And so be the person that calms people down, right? And I want to tell you what I see coming. Now, I'm switching out of common sense mode into what I see, because I think I owe it to you. Okay. There's 2 scenarios. And one scenario is, let's go with the worst case scenario first, right? That this throws the economy, this throws the world health. It throws everything into a chaos so bad that we go into a Great Depression, that there's no food, that people start fighting over resources, that kind of stuff. Like, let's go there first, because why not, right? If you're going to imagine a scenario, why not imagine the worst one? If I were you, like if I were me, I mean, I've been prepping for this stuff. I've been called paranoid before. My own mom has called me paranoid because I'm a prepper. Right. I've bought food, I've bought water, I've got, weapons, I've got ammunition, I've got stored up gas. I bought a piece of property that has water on it. All of these things that have been coming, and I've been called a maniac or a paranoid for the last 10 years of my life. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And so that's how I have prepared my life. Okay. And it may not be enough. I don't know, right? It may not be enough. I don't know, but you're either like that, or maybe you've got a year's worth of resources. Maybe you've got 6 weeks, maybe you've got 2 weeks. What I would tell you right now is start resourcing yourself so that you can put distance between you and the worst case scenario, right? Even look, if today that is 0 and you can't put any distance between you and a worst case scenario, then if you were to buy some food, or maybe look into some of the freeze dried stuff that's out there, the meal prep and those kind of things, and you're able to buy yourself a week worth of food, that's a week's worth of resources that you just provided for yourself, right? Start building that now, whether this turns into what my next thing is with the more likely scenario, but whether that turns into this is nothing, or whether this turns into something, you have built yourself a distance between you and a worst case scenario. Start doing that today. That doesn't mean go out and buy every piece of toilet paper that's out there. It means make sure you have some water. It means make sure you have some food. Make sure you have some food that can live in the freezer, or get yourself some freeze-dried food. There's plenty of places that you can look on the internet to find prepper, like meal prep. Just Google it and make sure that you have enough for you to take care of yourself, and just start building up that reserve so that eventually you have 6 months, so that you have a year. Thank you. Donna said it perfectly. It's always a good practice. Okay. Part of the issue is we've gone to this just in time. We don't have enough masks for people at hospitals. We got like the thing that the hospitals are worried about, to the best of my research, the thing that they're worried about is being inundated by people who are not really sick, but they're worried, right? They're worried, and they're taking up the resources when you've got people that are healthcare workers that are catching, the coronavirus themselves. There's frontline people. Everybody, if you know a nurse, if you know a doctor, if you know anybody in the healthcare world, support them, love on them, tell them how much they're appreciated, because they are our frontline warriors of this particular war. And they need our love. They need our support. They need anything that we can give to them. Watch their kids, babysit them, what they're doing is closing down these schools, and 35 to 40% of nurses are single mothers. And so that means that if they have a child at home, they're not going to be able to go to work, right? So there's this interplay that's really careful, or that's really intertwined with itself, that just needs people to step up. Like if you got 2 weeks off of work and you can watch a nurse's kid, then so be it. Do it, right? Do it. Offer where you can. If you've got 2 weeks off, if this is 3 weeks, if it's 4 weeks, if you're working from home, take this time to be able to increase your skills and your tools. Okay. So worst case scenario, I want to stick on that for just a second. Worst case scenario happens. The best thing that you can do is to put distance between you and worst case scenario. Start getting up some food, some water. Make sure that you conserve your cash. Those types of things. Just be prepared, and that's not bad. As Donna said, it's always a good practice, and eventually get yourself to where you can survive anything, any kind of scenario for a year at least. Okay, at least. Some of us went overboard on that, but it is what it is. I don't care. Now, let me tell you what I believe is going to be the actual thing that happens. Okay. And I'm sort of putting myself out there because, anytime that you say these kind of things, it can come back and be like, oh my God, you were so wrong. Right. I'm open to that, because really this is the way that I'm operating. I've already prepared. I've already prepared for the worst case scenario as much as I possibly can. So if it happens, it happens. Right. Let me just make sure I'm keeping up with you guys' comments here. Good. So that's worst case scenario. Pretty much everything you've done and what you can start doing on a day-to-day basis. That scenario, if it happens, that ship has already sailed. We're going to see what happens. There's also going to be opportunity in that, which I'll come back on, and we'll talk about this. If that's the direction that this goes, I'll come back on and I'll give you my best guidance about how to navigate that world as well. Now, what I actually see happening is this. We have this thing really kind of hit this month, in the month of March. Okay. The month of March, and we just got February numbers, which showed that we've added the most jobs that we possibly, that has ever been added in the history of mankind. I've watched other Warren Buffett. I watched what he said. I've been really digging into what do the financial minds think, right? And what you see out there is like, we're meeting with banks and we're meeting with business owners and we're blah, 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 blah. We should be meeting with this and that and the other. Look, there's a whole bunch of stuff that leadership needs to be doing right now. And this is one of the most important things, because those of you that have watched what's going on down in Venezuela or any failed state, right? Forget about the fact that it's socialism. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. Again, non-political conversation today. A failed state, people die at a much faster rate than anything that they're predicting for the coronavirus. Okay. So, so when I look at our country, what I look at in America, and I know there's people watching from around the world, and I don't know about your countries because I'm not there. And my focus right now is what I did earlier is human psychology that can be applied anywhere in the world. And now what I'm getting into specifically is those of you that live in America, what to expect over the course of the next 90 days to 6 months. And when I look at it and I listen to economists on both sides of the equation, both right, both left, liberal, progressive, conservative, and I piecemeal together what they're saying is that our economy, the underlying economy, is very strong. Our economy is not falling apart like it did because of over-leveraged banks. It's not falling apart because of not enough liquidity in the marketplace. It's not falling apart because of a housing market that's gone crazy. It's literally falling apart because of fear. And it's not necessarily, look, you could take a breather and then come back. And so this is what I think is happening is the month of March, it's going to tail off. I think that people aren't going to really lose their jobs until April. I think that in April, smart business owners, and I'm not advocating what I think of a business is that you have to keep it alive no matter what. And that means that you have to keep the entity going. And sometimes we get caught up in, well, we're going to survive, we're going to survive, we're going to survive. And now all of a sudden the business is gone. And instead of losing 10 jobs, you lose all 100. Okay. And this is whether you think I'm a dick or whether you don't, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just speaking truth. So you got to be ready, able, and willing to scale up and scale down based on what the marketplace is telling you. And if this goes on for 6 months, you absolutely cannot keep the staff that you have now, period, end of sentence, okay? So if we do see job cuts, I believe that we're going to start seeing them in April. And those numbers we won't get until May. Remember, everything is kind of trailing. We don't see anything until the following month, usually somewhere between the 10th and the 15th. And so I think we're going to see a dip in April. I think that by the end of April, spring will hit. We'll know really where this disease is going. We'll have a better idea if people were trying to scare us or if people were trying to present a Pollyannish presentation. By the end of April, we're going to kind of know the trajectory of this, and nobody on either side. Right now, everybody's playing on our fears and our not knowing. But by the end of April, I believe we're going to be in a place where we're going to know at a much higher rate of knowing. We're going to know kind of what direction this is going. So there'll be people that have been staying at home that are conserving their cash. And the minute that they realize that this was just a flu, I hope, okay, look, I'm not stating that it's just a flu. I'm just telling you that there's two scenarios, that this is the fucking apocalypse, and we already talked about that, or this is just a seasonal flu that we need to build something up over, okay? So we'll know that's the case. We'll know a lot more about the mortality rate. The Italian thing will play out. As we're seeing in China right now, they're opening up factories. President Xi has visited factories. He's been in Wuhan, which he wouldn't have gone there if there was a big thing. They know a lot more about it, and they're starting to wake back up, which is supply chain economics, which I don't want to get into because it's boring. But at the end of the day, supply chain is going to be opening back up. It didn't last that long. They're coming back. That's good news for what's going to happen in the future. And the next thing we need to see is what happens with Iran and what happens with Italy to let us know what that looks like. And we'll have 4 to 6 weeks of what's going on in our own world and what's happening in America. There's a lot of other things I could get into with supply chain, with China, with the fact that we've allowed for the purposes of cheap labor and so on and so forth, that we've allowed them to have 90% of our critical supply chain of our medicines and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into that tonight because it's irrelevant to the conversation, but that's our fault. Okay. That's our fault that we allowed that to happen. And we need to rectify it by bringing, some of that manufacturing back home. Okay. But I'm not going to get into that tonight. I'm getting into the fact that what's happening there, we'll have a better hold between now and then. Conserve your cash, improve your business, do what you can. Like if there's a course you want to take, if there's something that you want to do, like we're going to offer, we're not going to have a whole lot of seats, but we're going to have like 10 opportunities to people. We're going to do a retreat up at Abby's place to certify some Anton J global business coaches, because we need to. We're overloaded right now. A lot of companies are taking the opportunity to bring us in, do deep dives, and that kind of stuff. So first off, conserve your cash, manage your psychology, improve, take an opportunity for you to take this downtime for you to be able to improve your skill sets. I don't get whatever it is. If you're selling cars, if you're a coach, this is a great opportunity for you to improve and for you to take a breath and to be able to take an unexpected vacation away from your business and to be able to set things up so that it's better when they flick the light back on. That's how I view this. If in summary is the world just is going click. We're going to turn off the lights. We're going to turn off the electricity, and we're going to reboot because we don't know what the hell's happening. And we don't want to freak everybody out, where you're going to see a big stimulus from the government that I think the Republicans and the Democrats have to come together around. I think most people are going to get sick leave. They're not going to have to pay their copays. There's a lot of things that I think are going to be given to us, which basically means they're going to use our own money to support us for once, which is great. So I don't think there's going to be a big hammer down in people losing their jobs and or not being able to pay their bills. I don't believe that's coming. And again, I don't want to, this is not a political discussion. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to talk about it because at the end of the day, it's just starting and they're negotiating with our fear, by the way. Okay. If you're a Democrat, they want you to think that Republicans are going to vote against sick leave. If you're a Democrat, or if you're a Republican, you want your people to believe that the Democrats are going to try to shove through every single thing. Not this discussion. Okay. Because they're just using us and using our fear to fight against each other yet again, because they don't believe in their own heart of hearts. If they did, they would be working together like they did after 9/11. Okay. What happened after 9/11? They came together and boom, we are lockstep. We are Americans. We're going to work together, And right now you got a bill coming out. Pelosi knows that Trump won't pass. She wants to blame it on him. We're pushing, he's on his side, pushing over a payroll tax holiday that he knows the Democrats won't take. And they're jockeying for position and using fear against us right now, and further separating the world, which is complete and total bullshit. It shows weak leadership, okay? Not what this was about. Not what our conversation is about. What I'm saying is prepare yourself, do what you can, right? Do what you can to improve your position and be ready for what I think is going to happen, which is a snapback, right? When people stop spending, when they can't go to the movies, when they can't go to their concerts, when they can't travel, when they can't go to restaurants, when you've seen this, it happens after every single recession, is that there's a pent-up demand of people wanting to spend money. And what will happen, in my opinion, is long about March, April, so it'll be late May, early June. I think that you're going to start seeing this snapback to the economy. You're going to start seeing the snapback to the stock market. You're going to start seeing this snapback to people wanting to gather and to get together, because you can't separate human beings for too long, because interaction is something that really drives us, that we love being around each other. Spending money is something that we want to do. And that's what I see happening is in the scenario is that about the end of May, beginning of June, it's going to snap back. And if you haven't improved your business model, you're going to get flooded with orders. You're going to get flooded with business. And your company, most companies die of indigestion rather than starvation, which means you got to be ready for that snapback, June, July, whenever it happens, maybe as late as August, but there's going to be a snapback to where people are going to want to spend money. I don't see an underlying, and this is not just me, this is the research from Gates and from Warren Buffett and from other people that I've been digging into, to say that our economy is strong. If you live in America, our economy is strong, and this is going to be a temporary blip, and then we're going to come back. If everybody wants to know, that's what I'm banking on. That's what I am building towards. And I want to do as much work as I can in the next 90 days to resource you and Misfit Nation, to resource the people that I love, the people that I care about, so that you are prepared for that snapback when all of this madness goes away. And I'm optimistic. I realize that this is my best guess. I realize I could be wrong. And I also gave you the worst case scenario that I also think can happen. So that's it, y'all. That's what I wanted to get out. I want you to be prepared. I want you to be, no matter what happens, even if it's worst case scenario, the world's always going to reward leadership. You're going to have to step up. You may have to fight. We may have to, protect. We may have to do all those things in a worst case scenario. And either way, you're going to have to strengthen yourself. And being afraid is not something, being afraid is not something that's going to support you. It's not going to strengthen you. It's not going to put you in a position to win. It's not going to, just being fearful is not the place to be, y'all. And that's what I really wanted to come out and say, is that everything's going to be okay. It always is. And if it's not, then it was your time to go. It was my time to go. So be it. No amount of stress, right? No amount of being upset. And I've dealt with this. My mom and my brother are both chronic worriers. And I've dealt with that my entire life, is that we worry about things that aren't going to happen. And if they do, so be it. You know what? None of us is getting out alive. And so I love you all very much. I appreciate you all being in my life. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to have this platform. Those of you that made your way over here tonight, thank you. I'm going to keep things updated. This is the premise of what I believe is happening, and the premise of what the starting point that I wanted everybody to start from. And then I'm just going to start doing little, updates to what I find. I've done a lot of research. I didn't talk about a lot of stuff that I found financially from DC, all of the different connections that I have. But I'm on this for you and with you until it plays out, whatever end it is. I'm with you. And I'm going to give you my best, deepest insight. I'm going to tell you from the truth. Obviously, you guys have been with me for several years. You know that I don't have an agenda. I'm not pushing you to do anything. If I offer something, it's going to be because it'll help you. And that's it. And you can choose to do it or you can choose not to. I don't really care. But we're in this together. What I saw happen in Florida at Unstoppable when the first time Misfit Nation came together was that the one thing that we all had in common was love, and that we loved each other, and that we were there for each other, and that we lifted each other up. And that's what needs to happen now, is that we've got to come together. We got to love each other. We've got to put other people first. We have to be that calm pilot in the storm. And that's what I wish for all of you. Thank you for being with me tonight. I love you all very, very much. Now go be that rock, go be that oak tree, and let's make Misfit Nation mean something. Bye, guys.